So I decided to make a video about synchronicities and what does it mean to have more synchronicities in your life. So first, the definition. The definition of a synchronicity can come in two types. The first is time synchronicity, meaning something happens to you in the exact appropriate time in your life. You didn't plan it that way, but you sort of understood that this is the perfect timing. You can understand it now or you can understand it retroactively. Sometimes we don't really understand now what happens in our life, and we don't understand that it is for our best or for our best understanding, for our best teachings. But sometimes we understand that maybe a week from now, maybe 5 years from now, and then we look back and we say, oh my God, that happened so perfectly aligned with the time that I needed, or for that experience, or for me to be better. Do we need to stop because of that? No. Great. The second type of synchronicities is circumstantial. It can be a person that enters into your life in the right time. It can be an act, it can be an offer, it can be a job offer, for example. Something happened in your life that is perfectly aligned. But what does it mean, perfectly aligned? When we choose to let go and be guided by our great spirit, by our higher self, by our intuition, all of those things, these are also called synchronicities in our lives, because suddenly we understand that we don't need to be in the story itself. We don't have to plan everything. When we completely let go, then synchronicities start happening, because synchronicities happen from the greater plan that the mind is not aware of. Our mind, our consciousness that is limited to this little thing called the brain, that's when we limit ourselves. When we forget and we let go, we start to trust. When we start to trust, the universe will conspire to bring us our heart desires in the best way that it will unfold for us and for everybody else that is involved in the same thing. So one of the ways to have more synchronicities in our life is to trust and to let go. Now, how do we get more synchronicities in our life? To be in a higher vibration. And a higher vibration, it's more complex than just explaining it in a 5-minute video. To be in a higher vibration, I'll give you a few examples. It means to be honest with who you really are. It means to not argue with reality as it unfolds itself. It means to be a better person. It means to be humble. It means to be in unity. All those things create a higher vibration, a higher energetic nourishment, a higher pranic nourishment as well. You feel it. You feel it when it starts happening to you, because you suddenly realize that things are happening by themselves and you don't have to interfere. You can simply let go and allow it. I'll give you an example of synchronicity that happened in my life. I think about a year and a half ago, my then girlfriend, now wife, asked me if we can go on a long extended vacation before we get married. Because we said, okay, after we get married, we want to have children and we won't be able to have a longer vacation. So I told her, okay, I say we mark a spot inside our calendar, a whole month, and when we mark it, when we set that goal, it's going to happen. And we did that. It was about 9 months before. It was around March of a year previous to that. And what happened is that right when I put it in the calendar, 2 weeks afterwards, I got a phone call, somebody offering me to come to teach in Costa Rica at Teal Swan's place. And that's exactly the place we wanted to go. Now it's not a chance, it's synchronicity. It means that you plan something, you let it go, you told yourself it's going to happen anyway, and suddenly something comes and approves. You get an approval from the universe saying it should have happened. You did the right choice. This is in your path. And synchronicities happen all the time, with people coming into our life for just a second, or with us watching a particular YouTube video and getting like one sentence that completely changes our life. Synchronicity happened between students and masters. It happens between spiritual mentors and everybody else. It happens with yourself. Suddenly you realize something about yourself. It happens with job offers that you thought you're never going to get, and suddenly you just let go of something, you planned it in your mind, you put the vision out there, and then you let it go, and suddenly it happened. Now, the more advanced you are in your, I would say, personal awakening, some people would call it spiritual path, you will start noticing that more and more synchronicities are occurring. Another thing that makes more and more synchronicities in your life is if you are truly in your path. Now imagine this. there's a gazillion different paths. I know a gazillion is not a word. There's a million different paths, potential future paths for you. Some of those are more harmonious with your original plan, with your master plan. It is that plan that you planned with your guides, with your higher self, with the Creator Himself, before you reincarnated into this body. And some of them are not. Now, Buddha said that when we are walking in the path that we are not, that's not our pre-ordered plan, then we are suffering. It doesn't mean that we're physically suffering, but we are suffering from not knowing ourselves. Now, when you're walking your path, the light is lit on your path, and you know it. You know it because you're not struggling. When you're struggling in your relationship, you're not in your path. When you're struggling at your job and you're not waking up with a huge smile to go and enjoy something that is uniquely for you, then you're struggling your path. Now, the more you struggle, the less your vibration will become, the less synchronicities you will have in your life. The more open you are, the more you understand that there is a path, and I can listen to the path by listening to my intuition, by listening to my heart. And it's quite simple. The mind interferes and it tells you, don't listen to the heart, don't listen to the intuition, they're wrong. But when you learn to listen first to your intuition and only then to your mind, then you're walking the path. You understand what I'm talking about? If you don't understand, just watch my YouTube videos about walking the path of least resistance or finding my master plan. There's a few really, really good episodes just on that. But when you understand your path, it becomes quite clear to you. I'll give you an example that I resisted reality and I had way less synchronicities in my life. I was an IT computer programmer for a very, very long time. I thought that this is my path because I was excited about it, because it earned a lot of money, because I felt good with that. I knew that my creativity, my art comes out in that way. And then I did the Breatharian, the pranic living initiation. And afterwards, I told myself, okay, this is amazing. I've learned something new here, something that can change me and help many, many other people in the world. And I'm going to just write a book about it. I'm just going to have a website about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to share about it. I don't want to teach it in any way. And I did all those things. And then some bad things started happening in my life. I lost a lot of money. I lost a good friend. I was heartbroken by a relationship. Like a lot of bad synchronicities happened. And I didn't understand why, because I consider myself a master of manifestation. And I really am. And then I started looking inside. And I started realizing that my consciousness, that my higher self is guiding me to be a spiritual mentor, is guiding me to spread more information orally, is guiding me to make more videos, to explain myself. And what I noticed that when I did stand on stage and started talking, suddenly I didn't think too much. Suddenly the temperature of my body started rising. Suddenly I had no time. Meaning you don't think that, oh my God, I've been standing here for 2 hours. No, it's you stand up, you start receiving information and downloads, and it just flows in one straight line for a whole 2 hours. And then the crowd actually asks you for a break and you didn't even notice because you think just a minute went by. And when I realized that, and I took responsibility, and I started teaching, making workshops, expanding the information, first in my country, then to the world, and I started beginning to work, suddenly everything worked out in my life. I got synchronicity in a relationship, I got synchronicity in my job, I got different offers from different people. The right people started showing up in my life. And again, so you see, there's two ways. There's a way of increasing synchronicity by working on your self-development, and there's a way of becoming more conscious of your true path. And when you are in that path, you don't need to work too hard. It is the path of least resistance. It means it's like like electricity. It will flow. You have a bee in the lens. Yeah. So there's actually two ways of doing this. There's the conscious work that you're doing on yourself, becoming a better person, doing your own personal development, and there is the conscious work of understanding what you're resisting to. When you let go of the resistance and you start flowing, everything will start synchronizing more harmoniously in your life. The right type of people will come in the exact right time. And you need to start believing in that. Believe that everything is going to work out, you know. Emanate that outside, emanate that belief in your heart and in your mind. Because if you keep going, putting yourself down, victimizing yourself, that's not going to happen. That's exactly the opposite. the lessons that the universe will teach you are the type of lessons that will make you understand that you need more synchronicities. I had to have it the hard way. You know, I lost a lot of money. I was heartbroken. I lost a good friend. Many different things happened exactly in the same time frame. Like 2-3 months of terrible things. And then you have to learn it in the bad way. And now, in this day and age, the energies of the vibration of the planet is completely different. And more people are going to start realizing that they have hard time in their life because we have to stick to the path of least resistance. If you resist your job now, if you resist your relationship now, you are going to bring yourself an even worse hell, because it's like a shakedown time. Wake up, people, you know? And then when you wake up, the synchronicities start unfolding, your life is much simpler, you don't use the mind as much as you used to before, and you become really heart-oriented. So these were a few words about synchronicities, and I'm very happy you guys joined me here today. If you like this video, please share it or just comment down here. Every once in a while I read all these comments and answer them. You can go on my website maor.com to see my online schedule, or you can join a workshop. 1, 2, 3.
Maybe you can start off with saying where you are right now.
Can you see this?
Like, I think it could be interesting.
I shaved yesterday.
But do you see this on the camera?
That's okay.
That's okay.
Perfectionist.